Hello and welcome to Wireman's Whimsy. Today we are going to make this Wishing You All the Best card using the Greeting from Garden Wishes and using the Designer Series paper, the Pansy Petals DSP. So I quilt and sew in my other hobby life. So I decided, after seeing some similar cards on Pinterest, that I would create a kind of a patchwork card. So what I've got is a So Saffron card base with a soft succulent in 5 1/4 by 4 and a pale papaya in 5 by 3 3/4, and then a scrap of the So Saffron cut out using one of the contour scalloped dies. So to make the card, I've cut a whole bunch of strips of the Designer Series paper, and they are cut to 3/4 of an inch. And all I did is I just started laying them down. So I've used my Stampin' Seal, and I've just run this off, and I'll try and match what I did on this card as much as possible. So just lay this down, and once you've laid it down, you can trim off the extra. And don't throw that away. You can use that potentially in another spot, but you kind of just do it as you go. I'm going to put the green gingham one on. So yes, unfortunately you're going to be spending a little bit of time watching me build this card, but it's a fun card to build. It's a great kind of scrap buster. In quilting, we talk about scrap buster quilts where we get to use up all our small pieces. It is actually a really good way to use up small pieces of Designer Series paper. And you just keep adding until you're happy. And if a piece doesn't work, really, you just peel it off and start again. So we just keep building and trimming and building and trimming. You can trim all at once if you want to. But I just wanted to give you the concept of what we're doing here. So then I'm going to take a dark piece here. I think we'll pop one of the floral pieces in the top corner here, and that edge is not straight. So I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to use the straight edge. One of the things in quilting is you want everything straight and everything as square as possible, or else your finished project is going to be a little wonky. Now, if you're doing a crazy quilt, you want wonky, but not in traditional quilting. So we can fill in this little bit at the top here as well. All I need is just a little corner. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on that, and then I'll come around later and I'll cut that off because I do want to kind of build through this card. And I know that next I want to do a piece like this in here, and I'm going to adhere it like that. So not all the pieces are kind of going the same way or doing the same thing. It is very directional. So we're just going to keep, as I say, we're just going to keep adding and see what we get. So, and because you're using up scraps of paper, not every card is going to look the same. So I am going to, what am I going to do next? I'm going to use an orange piece, and I am going to, sorry, I shouldn't say orange, I should say Calypso Coral, which I believe this piece is. I'm just going to line that up like that, and it's going to come over the end. And then I'm going to find another of the yellow, or this one might be So Saffron and Bumblebee combined. And I'm just going to adhere this one like this. And then what do I want off the side here? I'm going to pull just a little bit of an edge of this one. This one's going to end up being slightly different than the example that I built, but that's okay. And I'm going to use a piece of green gingham, or the soft succulent gingham, in here. I just need to decide how I'm going to put it so that it makes the most sense. And it makes the most sense like this. And again, you can use your own color choices. You can use your own DSP. You can mix and match the DSP as well. You can, if you've got some other ones that you want to use up, what would look really good with this too is some of the colors from the Seashells DSP. What's that called? Sand and Sea Designer Series paper would look good with this as well. So I'm just gonna build that like that. And then I've got a couple of small pieces I can use to just finish this off. And actually, I think it would probably be better if I just did this one like this and finish that off. So now I just need to trim off all my edges and then stamp the greeting. And I used some of the matte decorative dots that are in the new mini catalog. They're really, they've got the in colors in them. They're very, very nice. And they are matte, so they are nice and subtle. They're rounded. There's no facets on them. So they're easy peasy to mail, and they are come in a variety of sizes as well as colors. So I'm just trimming all my extra ends off here, and then we'll sweep them out of the way, and we'll layer up the card, and then we'll do the greeting, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so the best part of creating is you get to make a mess. So let's take the soft succulent and adhere it to the So Saffron card base. And again, this soft succulent is a 5 1/4 by 4. And we will just line this up like that. And then we can take this piece and we can adhere it as well. The Pale Papaya in 5 by 3 3/4. And again, just layer that up and drop it down. And then we can stamp our greeting. Most of the time I would stamp the greeting before I cut it out, but we're just going to go for it here. What I do is I line things up, and when it's not a photopolymer stamp, I kind of line it up to make sure that it is straight, that the sticker is actually straight, and then I just line it up and stamp it down. So that is nice and straight there. And I used the Evening Evergreen to stamp that. And I used the, see, this is kind of soft succulent to Evening Evergreen. So I am going to use the second color variation in because I used the first color variation already. So I'm going to pop that down like that. And I love the gradients of color on this. It's really, really neat. And I've got the too light one there, so I'm just gonna go with this one and just pop it down. And then one of the smaller ones. And just keep popping these down like that. And I'm gonna put another row on the bottom as well, just to kind of give it a bit of depth. Like that. And then the next size up. Like that. And then the largest of the 3 sizes just on the end, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take some dimensionals and I am going to dimensionalize this on. And I'm going to put the greeting down here because there's a bit of a crossroads here. So I'm just going to dimensionalize it kind of over that area like that. And then we will be done. So thank you so much for watching the video today. I know it took a little bit of time to get all those pieces laid down, but I hope it's inspired you to use up some of your designer series paper, especially if you are a quilter or you're making a card for someone who quilts. I'm always fascinated by the cards I get that remind me of quilt patterns. So there we go. That is the finished card. Thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.